Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us this evening for our bi-weekly guided meditation and Dharma talk. Tonight's really pertinent topic, um, ending a relationship with compassion and empathy. Now, we all have relationships at one point in time in our lives, whether it's a family member, a friend, a coworker, and although we'll focus a little bit more on personal relationships, all relationships come into being and cease to exist. And so that's what tonight's Dharma talk will be about. But welcome, and thank you for joining us tonight. Today is August 5th, 2024, and we're joining you from the Blue Lotus Meditation and Mindfulness Center here in Brainerd, Minnesota. And I'm delighted to have you with us. Absolutely. Just a few brief announcements. Before we begin our guided meditation and Dharma talk, if you haven't subscribed to our newsletter, you're absolutely welcome to. And one of the new editions or the new columns that we have added is mindfulness advice. So if you have a mindfulness question, a Buddhist question, any type of question that relates to you personally, perhaps, or just how to better your practice, we have that a mindfulness advice column. You can send it directly to our email, which is down below in the descriptions, and you can send us your question. Your anonymity, if I say that right, your privacy will be maintained, so you don't have to worry about that. Our weekly sanghas, right? So we have sanghas almost every day of the week, Monday through Friday, at various times. Excuse me. So we have our healing sangha, our veterans sangha, new beginning sangha, a rainbow sangha, a welcoming sangha, and a sangha for teens. And our teens, we know as adults how difficult life can be, and we were all teenagers once and younger, right? And so we know how the benefit of mindfulness has helped us or is helping us. So we try to reach our youth so they don't have to face the same challenges in the way that we did, which was oftentimes just struggling. So something to consider if you have a teen, or you may want to join. They may want to join if you like. Upcoming retreats on the 16th, August 16th, we have a couples retreat, couples mindfulness retreat. It's an overnight retreat for the weekend, Friday through Sunday. And we work mindfully with ourselves, with our partners, and with others. So we can strengthen our relationships, make new friends, right? New Dharma friends to guide us on our practice as well. On the 23rd, we have our refuge retreat. So this is a free retreat for domestic violence survivors, or somebody who is just not in a good situation at home or in a relationship or whatnot. Welcome to join us, right? Just to get away for a weekend at least. So you're always welcome to join us. And then on the 25th, we have our meditation retreat. So that's a Sunday. And so you can sit there with us, and we do Dharma talks and short activities and silent meditation, walking meditation, various different activities. So to support and develop and nurture your own practice. Also, we are now scheduling events for our Renew Humanity Tour for 2025. We are more than welcome to come to your location worldwide, right, to help share the Dharma. So more details on our webpage if you're interested in learning more about that opportunity. But we are more than happy to come visit you. So as we begin, we delve into our transition to our guided meditation and Dharma talk. We begin with the 3 jewels. I take refuge in the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. I take refuge in the Sangha. Very nice. So our topic tonight is ending a relationship with compassion and empathy. And to go along with that, to help support that, our guided meditations follow in that same theme. And so our theme, or tonight's guided meditation, is all conditions are impermanent. Right? Realizing that it doesn't matter what it is, right? All conditions that we experience in life are impermanent. And so go ahead, allow yourself to get into your comfortable position. And you can close your eyes, and I will guide you along in this guided meditation to help support you. So you can just relax and just focus on my voice and reflect on what I relate to you. So let's begin by taking a moment to settle our bodies into that comfortable position. You may close your eyes or keep them slightly open with a soft focus in front of you if you choose. Breathe in. Pause. And breathe out. And at this time, I warmly invite you to simply allow that half smile to rest on your face as you sit there. Lift your spine and soften your belly as you continue settling in. Soften your shoulders as well. Just notice that tension or stress just easing away as you sit there. Breathe in. Pause. And breathe out. And let's meditate on the impermanence of conditions. Everything changes. Nothing in the universe is static. A star is born. It shines for a time, and then it dies. A mountain is formed. It is in existence for a time, and then it erodes away. The ocean tides rise and they fall. All living things are born. They live for a period of time, and then die. Our thoughts and emotions, they come They stay for a while and move on, only to be replaced by another thought or emotion. Impermanence is the nature of all conditioned things. No one or thing is exempt from being impermanent. Breathe in. Pause. And breathe out. Everything is created from something. Nothingness cannot create anything. When something ceases to exist, a star, a tree, an apple, its form is then created into something else. It is in this condition of impermanence that we get to experience growth, love, empathy, and joy. And it is in this condition of impermanence that we get to experience death, loss, grieving, and suffering. All conditions are impermanent. Go ahead and begin to open your eyes and to reorientate yourself before you move around or stand up if you choose. Yeah. It's hard sometimes, right? To think that our loved ones, pets, homes, cars, careers, whatever it is always going to be there. And that misunderstanding or not being aware that all things are conditioned or all conditions are impermanent can lead to suffering, right? And all conditions end. It doesn't matter what it is. All conditions end. And this is the law of impermanence. And it's oftentimes that we aren't really and truly educated in that sense. Of course, we know as we get older, things that are important to us, may cease to exist. Parents pass away, relationships end. But sometimes we have a hard time being with that because we've been involved with it for so long. Right? Our parents are with us for a long time. Our brothers and sisters are with us for a long time. Very often, the very first sense of loss that we experience, it's It's usually either a pet or a grandparent. And so when we experience that loss for the first time, we're very uncertain how to handle it. And oftentimes our parents don't know how to handle it. Right? Very first time, and you're wondering, what does this have to do with relationships? Right? These are all relationships that we're dealing with and considering. My very first time was with my grandmother when she passed away. I was invited to the house, but I didn't go to any of the funerals or to the wake or anything like that, because my parents themselves probably didn't know how to um, properly educate me in that. So just a reminder, right? All conditions end. And this is the law of impermanence. Birth is a really wonderful change sometimes, right? Um, Bringing in a new life into our homes or to our families. Sometimes it's a very good, right? Very welcomed example of the law of impermanence. But again, so is death and so forth. But living, right? So between all of these two end states or transitions, right? There's a lot of living that goes on, a lot of experiences. And this is oftentimes where impermanence, ending relationships, skill is needed, right? Starting school, right? Parents are certainly happy when you start school, right? You were certainly happy when school started. You may have been a little bit nervous, but a little on that excited times, right? Make new friends, new teachers, and so forth. Graduations, right? Graduating fifth grade, middle school, high school, university, or whatnot. All kinds of graduations. That's a change, right? No longer are you in that educational environment. Those kind of relationships sever too. Certainly, relationships and friendships will come and go, right? They come and go, and that's kind of what this focus is really going to be a little bit more. This Dharma talk is going to be a little bit more focused on. But those relationships and friendships, they come in and they stay for a while sometimes, and they leave, right? Just like we have. There's plenty of people that we haven't talked to. Careers, maybe get fired or laid off or whatnot. Those are relationships. Pretty impactful too, right? That's how you earn a living. Maybe you get promoted, right? Maybe you just change jobs. So that's certainly a good transition as well. But what we're kind of focusing on for the remainder of this Dharma talk are ending relationships. Right? Most often, significant relationships can be hard, right? Hard to accept, hard to adjust to. And that is simply because we have that clouded understanding, right? It doesn't allow us to fully grasp the law of impermanence. And we know, things may be on rocky roads or maybe not as blissful as they could be. And maybe we can kind of just get that little feeling inside, right? Sometimes there's comfort involved too in that relationship ending. Maybe you don't want it, even with all the roughness, the rough patches, and the uncertainty sometimes. So there's a level of comfort in those situations because we're uncertain where that next moment is. Right? And so this leads to that attachment and the desire for those conditions to be permanent. Sometimes, again, it's that comfort level that we often experience. Right? Even if it's perhaps not the most nurturing or warm relationship that we're in, or maybe it is. Maybe you're just not seeing. Maybe it's just this is not a situation that you even expected to happen. And it can be hard because we expected it to be permanent. Or perhaps, again, we're comfortable. Right? We're just comfortable with where it is. So how do we understand? Right? Understanding that end of the relationship is here. What took me a long time, I've had my relationships end before. I think most of us have. And what I would try to do is try to figure out who's at fault. What did I do? What's going on? What did they do? Like if I change something like that, right? Or maybe point it out to someone else and that they will change or whatnot, would change the outcome. But let go of fault and blame. It's hard sometimes. But let go of fault and blame. That's attachment. You're trying to hold on to someone who just does not want to be there. Right? To someone who just does not want to be there. So it's not important who's at fault. Who's to blame? Was it me? Was it them? Was it the cat? Was it the dog? Whatever. If it's the cat or the dog, maybe something else. Right? We all love our cats and dogs. And try to adopt acceptance. This is the situation. Right? Doesn't matter whether we like it or not. Somebody perhaps has made this decision for us. I don't want to be here any longer. For whatever reason, letting go of fault and blame. Right? They may give you reasons, you may give them reasons. Right? Don't go tit for tat. Don't go back and forth. It's unnecessary drama, unnecessary suffering. Acceptance. Somebody wants to leave, they can go. And while this is occurring, accepting or embracing the quality of equanimity, balance, and calmness. When we are continuously trying to find fault, assign blame, or reject the situation, our minds are going to be cloudy. We will not make rational decisions that are nurturing to us or beneficial to us, or perhaps even beneficial or advantageous or helpful to the other person. So when we embrace equanimity, we are having the calmness. Doesn't mean you can't be sad. Okay? Doesn't mean you can't have hurt feelings. But we still have to try to maintain a balance. Doesn't mean you're a robot either. Right? No. So we can also employ compassion and empathy. What's compassion? We need good understandings of what compassion and empathy are. Compassion, simply the sympathetic pity and concern for the sufferings or misfortunes of others. I will also include yourself in that. Right? Sympathetic pity and concern for the suffering or misfortunes of others, but you can also have compassion for yourself. That awareness that I am suffering. Of course, you may have been in that relationship for a significant time. You can finish each other's sentences. You know, they prefer Captain Crunch over Count Chocula, all those little things, or how they like their eggs, right? Whatever it is. So we have compassion for ourselves. right? Understanding this change is happening. Acceptance, not assigning fault or blame, and equanimity. But just as important, having compassion for the other. Right? Having compassion for the other person. They were involved too. For whatever reason, maybe they chose to not continue on. That's a hard decision. There have probably been relationships where you had to move on. It may have been hard for the other as well. And empathy, the ability to understand and share the feelings of another, right? Or yourself. Having empathy for yourself. You're allowed to feel the feelings you're feeling. Okay? Again, you may have been in that relationship for a significant time. A big change, right, is occurring. Trying to find ways to mindfully be in that moment is important. So having that empathy for yourself and the other, right? And the other person. They're suffering too. And as mindfulness practitioners and Buddhists, we do our utmost best to not increase suffering for ourselves, for others, and the world around us. But oftentimes breaking up, we don't like to sit with that void or that feeling of where am I going to be? Who's going to love me? Who's going to like me? A lot of times those thoughts permeate our minds. I'll never find anyone. You're the only one for me, right? We oftentimes play those stories in our heads. But there is no rush for the next relationship. So don't seek out those sensual experiences just to fill that void or the absence. I'm using the sensual word for not just sexual relationships, but just for the hand holding, the touch, the camaraderie, right? Those are all the sense pleasures that are involved in our sensory exploration and understanding of the world. So don't go out there to try to seek to just to fill those voids. That can cause harm to you because you don't learn how to be with you. And being with you, yourself, sometimes that's very hard for people. We try to hide it. And finding someone else to fill that void is a way to mask it and not allow us to understand ourselves. So then you have to embrace yourself. Embrace the good qualities that you have. If there's something that perhaps you want to work on, this is the time. Right? Get to know you. Understand you from a whole point of view, from a whole understanding. Why you like certain things, why you don't like something else. What triggers you, what does not trigger you. Understanding those boundaries, that's how you embrace yourself. What makes you, you. So compassion and empathy are very important in ending a relationship, and not just for us again, right? For the others as well. As mindfulness practitioners again, right? We and Buddhists, we don't want to do anything to increase suffering. Suffering is already prevalent in the world. So infinite compassion for ourselves and for others. So our next talk is on August, 2 weeks from now? I put the 9th. I think it's the 19th in 2 weeks. So it's bi-weekly. Well, I have to do that fast math. 14 days. Today's the 5th, so it's the 19th. So August 9th will be our next Dharma talk. If you ever have suggestions or ideas that you would like um, us to talk about and present about, let us know. We love to hear your comments and suggestions, and I like to, to teach the Dharma as skillful as I can towards others to help ease their suffering. So let us know. More than happy to. And with that, we will end with the 3 jewels. I take refuge in the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. I take refuge in the Sangha. Satu, Satu, Satu. All right, my friends. Bless you all. Many Buddha blessings. Namo Buddhaya to you. And I will see you again in 2 weeks. If you're just now joining us, our replay will be up in the next few moments, so you are welcome to watch that. Many blessings to you all. And we'll see you in a few weeks. 2 weeks on the 19th.